Welcome guys to this introduction video to the Tbone project. What is a Tbone project? It's a project I've been working on for the past 4 weeks. It's a side project, a fun project that is as a challenge. Now the goal of the project was to create a program, a bot, a robot that automates human Tinder behavior. So Tinder, the application where you can meet people. Basically the goal was to automate both the swiping and the chat, the conversation, as much as possible. So what problem does it solve? This bot, this Tbone bot, is basically reducing the time between installing the application and meeting a woman. This is the reason why most users are using Tinder anyway. What issues does it reveal? So initially I thought it should be possible to create such a bot and achieve some results, and I turned out to be right. So it actually has been producing some results. So what it's revealing is that you can create a bot to substitute your human behavior, and human users would not be aware of it, that they're talking to a robot, and not really to basically a page I've written. It's just a script. At the end of the day, our brain is a script as well, but you understand the issue here. So business opportunities, I see a few. Obviously the Autoliker is quite powerful. Liking the profiles based on your preferences of the words that you don't like in the bio, maybe images, is quite powerful. I've been thinking of offering that to the public, so we'll have a look if that's possible or not. Another opportunity is there's a certain group of users that are using Tinder for business reasons, for lucrative reasons, and those would, in my mind, I think those can benefit greatly from Tinder use, from an automated, let's say, Tinder account, to sell their product or service, if you know what I mean. Before we go to the examples and the demonstration, I want to quickly go into the technical background. It's fairly simple. You have to understand, my background is not in programming. I've been working with programs for some time. I'm originally a chemist, but I think I understand. I can give you an idea of how simple it is nowadays to create such a bot. And I think this is interesting for you, even if you don't have an IT background. So let's have a look. Basically, the bot consists of 2 files I have written. It's very simple. There's an Autoliker file. It's just a text file that you can see here. Basically, what I'm doing in this file, this is written. This is code, and it's basically instruction for. This is written in a programming language called Python. And what it does, it's with this programming language, I'm communicating, I'm giving instruction to the computer to execute some actions, and what I'm doing is I'm actually connecting to something that was already developed. So there's a lot of open source programs in code on the web. So I'm using some files that were already developed that are connecting to an API of Tinder directly. So API is an application programming interface. All major sites have it. It's a way to communicate with these sites. Basically, it's just we send them some text, and we can send information, and we get back information. And this is it's an interface how we can interact with sites. So basically, I'm connecting to what was already developed, and this file that was already developed is communicating directly with the Tinder API, the interface. So I didn't have to do so much work on top, and it's fairly simple. Even the connection that was already developed here by someone else is fairly simple. So it was a matter of understanding how to communicate with the Tinder API, basically, that he implemented, and I'm basically connecting to the Tinder API through his file. And how it works here, it's an autoliker. So what happens here is I just loop here 100 times, and I get the recommendations from Tinder. So if we go to Tinder, this will just be an example. So this is the Tinder app online, and so you can see here I get some profiles I like or dislike, and basically the first step is just to get recommendations. So I get 12 profiles basically that then I can like or dislike. And in this case, what I do is I just go through each recommendation, each profile I get, and then I check the bio. It's very simple. I just check the bio and I check if there's any of these words in the bio. So if there's feminist, trans, one night stand, no sex, me on Insta, LGBT, gender fluid, vegan, direct, pansexual, words that I really don't like when people express these. Also the heights, everything above 175 for me, if it includes, basically if the bio includes any of these words, then I just dislike. I also add a random factor, so 1 in 10 randomly select a number between 1 and 10, and if it's equal 1, also dislike. So I add some randomness. And then I like or dislike. I like the profile. I dislike the profile if it has any of these words, or if it's basically the number selected randomly is 1, then I dislike, and otherwise I like. And I like it. And another thing I do is I just have a break after each like or dislike, a time, again random, pick a random number between 4 and 10, divided by 10, so anything between 0.4 and 1. And this is basically the seconds that the program waits before continuing again. It's just a loop that goes continuously over for 100 times. So in this case, when I execute this, I can I can like or dislike 1,200 profiles. I can also increase it to like and dislike 12,000, right? But let's just leave it at 1,200. So this is the autoliker. The chat is a bit more complicated. The chat basically is status based. It's still just basically a page of instruction. You have to understand. I didn't know Python. I have never worked with Python beforehand. The code is probably not clean, but it's with this basically this 300 lines, which is not much. You have to understand this is I think these are 2 pages of text. And we can basically create this system that has the chat. So the chat is fairly simple. So what I do is I have different statuses, but what I do is I just check if the person is closer than I have some parameters here. If it's close, the person is 15 kilometers from me, then I send basically an offer to meet in the evening. Yeah. If the person is not. So this is the case where the person is closer. If I get an answer, then I send myself an email and I just review it manually. If the person is not closer than 15, it takes another route and basically just has a conversation. And the goal is then if the person gets closer at some point, it will get the invitation as well. But if it's not, then it will just the goal is just to get Instagram. So this is fairly simple in summary. What happens? There's basic handling of answers. So if there's a question, if it's a question, if they're asking for WhatsApp, I'm handling the WhatsApp request. I'm sending this message with the WhatsApp. If they're having a question mark, I'm just sending one of these random messages. So either I answer with maybe, or you're a curious one, I can already tell. Or if I cannot see what the answer is, and if it's not a question and it's not a WhatsApp request, I just answer something random like babe, hey, cutie, all I ever hear is blah blah blah. And then if they take if they're far away after the opener, I will have some basic status handling where I basically send a random message and I send a qualification message. And then I send basically the invitation to connect on Instagram. The reminder message is basically when they don't answer for 24 hours. I send 4 layers of reminders. And so this is just to Obviously, I'm not doing this manually, but as this is automated, this is very convenient. At the end, I save everything in the database. And then I send myself an email for, as I said before, when they answered my suggestion to meet or when they answered my suggestion to stay in touch on Instagram. So this would be just the simple the setup we have nowadays. There's a few parameters, as you can see here. Phone number is like currently is my phone number is this. Invitation hours, the time I invite the person to meet in the evening. So if the bot runs at this time between 9 and 21, it means we'll send the invitation. The closing message default, so to me it's something like this at the moment. Daytime. This is I'm processing matches since this date. I just added some parameters so it can be customized and send email to this email. Yeah. So this is what it looks like at the moment. So we can look at some demonstrations now. Let me just make sure that the recorder is still working. Let's look at some examples. I've listed just a few we can have a look at. So let's just go through a few. This account is 1,200 matches. So example, tested scenario. So what I've tested with is basically I just run a boost here in Sao Paulo, and while the boost runs, I just launched the Autoliker, and I liked basically a lot of profiles, and then out of that I got 200 matches, and I tested this setup on 200 matches. This is a way how you can efficiently use it. It will just basically the Autoliker, as you can see, there's nothing here that says that gives any specification on what to like and what to not. The parameters basically of search. It will just take the parameters you have in your Tinder app. So the distance you have there, the location you have there, the age preferences. It will just take those preferences basically. So if you change those, it will automatically, the recommendation it gets, it will be from that, basically from that, from the settings you have there. It must be said that we can also, it would be fairly simple to have a program that was already developed where we can have some basic or even machine learning image processing and analysis, and where you can then like or dislike based on your preferences. Basically, you can give the system maybe a set of images you like, and then it will automatically like or dislike the profiles based on your preferences. This should be fairly simple. So the setup I tested is just liking a bunch of people here in Sao Paulo, and now we can look at some examples. So let's just put this to the right and keep this to the left. So I will show you some basic examples. So we can see, this is Leah. So you can see, sporty because I have some basic checks to set the nicknames and date invitations, and basically she probably has something regarding sport in her profile, which now maybe I can see if I can. Yeah, we can see she has fitness. Yeah, hashtag fitness. So this is why I call her sporty. Today I work, but tomorrow I'm free. Now, I answered manually. She answered here, so I got an email. And what I say here is tomorrow I leave, right? Basically, whenever I answer manually, this match will then be basically classified as manual, and then the bot will not process it anymore. Let's have a look at some examples. It's basically all automated. This is an example for, she was far, so cutie looked like trouble. It sends a different message, right? So trouble, how, babe, babe, I'm just ignoring basically. Two things you would bring to the deserted tropical island. It's basically the status, the status random, right? Random, the first status. Knife and you, cutie, you're handling again the answer, and then something about your, this is the qualify message, is that good, you're curious one, and because it's a question, I'm basically sending you're curious one, I can already tell. You're not so close, and basically I'm just closing her, this is the bench, and here I get an email again as well. So you can see it's producing a result here, it's pretty crazy, I mean, it doesn't make much sense, right? I mean, it's that good, but you're curious one, I can already tell. But as you can see, it's still working. There's some degree of randomness is attractive. So Bella, humans are weird. Bella, again, look at this conversation, right? Again, she's not close, so it's getting this path. Do you have any super? Again, taking this, handling the question here is kind of weird. And she answers a long message here. Whatever. I just want to show you some examples. Again, hi handsome, how are you, cutie? Two things you will bring to the desert tropical, and you her on your cousin. Can you whatever? And so next time it will be, because she answered, I will probably just close her with the bench her basically with Instagram. It doesn't mean that in future, if we're close, it's still gonna process and invite. It will recognize. Obviously, with 1,200 matches, you will never be able to do this manually, right? What else do we have? There is what's this? Tamir is Herbie making plans for tonight. What you're planning to do? A vacation of you. Give me a sec, right? So again, I invite her. She answers. Give me a sec, and then I receive an email, and then basically I review manually. Here I didn't answer, but you can see how effective this can be, right? This program can run all the time. Currently I just run it manually. I mean, I had it run all the time, but it's just wasting people's time. So this is an example of the persistence, right? The reminder. So happy dancer, again, because she has something with dancing. I'm insisting on this page. This is 24 hours later I send this. I send again after 24 hours persistent. There's 4 levels actually. It continues. Every day it sends a message. It's really crazy. Sorry. Next one. Diane. Oh, please don't stalk these people. Hey there. Hey, Jan, you're making plans for tonight. I'm handling your message here. Hey, what are your plans today? Give me a sec. Now, give me a sec. Right? And then, zack. Basically, just, I fell asleep after the sauna, but yeah, anyway. Do you know? Maybe? Yeah, do you know? Is this one, for example? Yeah, this is an example. So, Oi, she sends WhatsApp. Yeah, I'm making plans. Do you want to come to my hostel, whatever? And because she said, call me on WhatsApp, the messenger checked WhatsApp and said my WhatsApp, basically. And she sent me a WhatsApp. Pretty crazy. I mean, it's interesting how it works. So, let's see. Now, let's go and have a demonstration. So, the way this works is fairly simple. As I said, we have these 2 files, right? The Autoliker and the Chat Robbie. So what we can do is just execute the 2 files. Now I just go to the folder. This is just going to the folder where this file is in. And I will just execute the Autoliker Robbie.py. This is the file you're seeing here. I put enter, and what's happening now is just gonna, you see, liked, and it's printing some information. So whenever you see print here, print is basically printing something that's displaying the details, so I can see the buyers just for further improvement. It's kind of liking everyone. Okay, this one is disliked, and liked, and you can see there's some randomness in the time between every profile, the processing of every profile, so that's pretty cool. Dislike, and we would see basically we would see the matches popping up here, if we get any, which might happen or not. So this is the Autoliker. We'll just continue to run. This can be run. I'm just running this from my computer, but it can all be added to be put online and just executed there. So this is the Autoliker, fairly simple. And now if you go, this is much more interesting to look at. Now we can execute the chat. Oh, sorry. Need to go to the right folder first. So how is it called? Chat Robbie.py. Let's see what happens now. Okay, it's also here. I'm printing a lot of information so I can check and understand what's going on. Her new messages, what I'm sending. But let's just have a look what happens here. Just open the new team there. So just go to the message and let's see. So you can see it's sending messages, yeah? So you see these are all reminders. One more time singing. It's basically sending reminders. Because they haven't answered, right? So you can see this is 4 level, right? It's crazy, right? You would never do this. After 4, it sets it to dead and I don't do anything anymore. It's pretty crazy. It's ridiculous. Again, I'm inviting her again because it was a reminder, then I reset it if she answers, and then I start from the beginning. Probably not the smartest thing, but again, yeah. Because I question, and I answer maybe. Obviously, I cannot answer this. By the way, this is the guy, yeah. So here we have, she's sending me some information. I'm inviting her, she's sending me some stuff, so I'll give me a second, I get an email now that she has answered to basically an invitation. So you can see it's taking its time, and you can imagine if you have hundreds of matches, it's not or thousands of matches, you don't want to do this manually. This can be pretty efficient. Let's just wait until it processes some more. It will definitely invite all the new ones or handle all the new ones. So there's 13 matches here that we can see at this point in time. So we can see here it's handling some messages. Geez, but why? Oliver is blah blah blah. Fact about you go. But yeah, it's just, obviously it can be improved, but you have to remember the goal here is to get the people to meet. So you have to be a bit cocky and a bit interesting. It's not to have meaningful conversations. Otherwise, I could just connect it to some other existing bot that has conversations. Come on, that looks cute. Another match. Now it's processing the new matches, as you can see. They're going down in number, and I'm sending the new messages. You can see these are all closed, probably. So you can see it's processing the new matches. You look like trouble because she's not close. Sorry. She is close enough, so it's sending invitation. So again, looks very Brazilian here. Making plans for tonight, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's still running, right? So you can see it's running, it's handling all the new matches. I mean, it has sent probably, I don't know, many hundreds of messages. And this is just matches from today. So you can see how you can hack this quite efficiently. Still inviting the new matches. Making plans. This all works right in the background. Almost finished. There's 2 more. And it's matching new people, I mean. Okay, yeah, I think that's enough. Maybe I can show you the email. Sending email. Okay, so he has processed everything, so we can just have a look at the email with the update, basically. So this would be the update that I receive. It's basically everything that when someone has answered to connect from afar. So it's the Instagram connect. It's all the bench E, and the close is someone that I invited for tonight and answered me. But yeah, you see the point. You get the point. I sent a lot of messages. Probably will have some answers. A lot of new matches that I contacted.